This could have been the week South African teacher Pierre Korkie was finally reunited with his family, but sadly only his body is expected to arrive back in South Africa today. This after Korkie and American hostage Luke Summers were killed during a failed attempt by the US-led forces to free hostages from militants in the Yemen over the weekend. During the months and days Korkie was held captive in the Yemen, the humanitarian organization Gift of the Givers was instrumental in negotiations to get Pierre back home before Christmas. And joining us today is the founder of the Gift of the Givers, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman. A very good morning to you.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us. I know it's a very difficult time for you because you've been so intimately involved in this case. Just tell us, how do you feel this morning? It must be a little bit disappointing.
It's devastating, to be honest, because we had lost lives in the process. On the 10th of November, tribal leaders went into Al-Qaeda area, and on the way, drones attacked and killed some of them. But the worst of it all was, at 5:59 on Saturday morning, I told Yolandi, the waiting is almost over. The whole night, from 10 p.m. to around 1 a.m., I was giving her encouragement. She was very anxious. Is it really going to happen? Will he come out? What state will he be in? How will we get him out? Yemen is dangerous. And I talked her through for quite some time. And the morning, she was feeling finally, okay, today it's going to happen. And a few days before that, I told her, Christmas, you and Pierre are going to spend time together. Take the kids, go to the mountain, go to the bush, do whatever you want, Bond. And January, February next year, I'm coming to see you. You give it that kind of optimism, and 2 hours later, you get a call to say he's not anymore. It's devastating. I'm very sad for her, but she's a very strong woman.
We've got conflicting reports coming out after what happens. Some said that Pierre Korkie was killed in a crossfire, others by terrorists. Do you have any information for us with regards to this?
There's no witnesses. The only witnesses is the American army. There's only one point of information. There's no matter of verification. There is no way you're ever going to be able to verify. I think the only way you can verify is to take the bullet out of him and see where it came from.
The way forward now for the Korkie family is going to be difficult today. Are you guys still going to support them with this difficult week that's ahead now?
I must tell you something. I'm amazed at Yolandi's strength. It has come out more now than in any time in 11 months. I mean, she was devastated Saturday morning, but she sent a message on Saturday afternoon for me and for understand the tribal leaders. She was more worried about Anas being heartbroken, thinking that he failed, and she was worried about his state of mind in that condition. Yesterday, she had asked her media spokesman to send a message to me to say she's coming tomorrow. And she is so strong, making the funeral arrangements, getting ready for the body to come, being there for her children. Yolandi has come out very, very strong. We'll be with her. We'll hold her hand and go through all the way, but Yolandi is going to manage on her own.
Now, some people are harboring some resentment in this case towards the US-led forces that went in. Some say very gung-ho at this stage after such a long, drawn-out process. How do you view this?
I think, to be fair to them, I mean, the US have got that reputation of being gung-ho, but to be fair to them, I think they would have had public pressure from their own citizens because they were given a deadline that within 3 days, Luke Summers was going to be executed. Now, how does the largest army in the world sit back and fold their arms and tell the public, we just said and they did it? Obviously, it's a risk. It's a war. Most cases, you fail. You're never successful in a war situation. Sometimes you're lucky. If there was so much of anger, then last week, why did they not complain when the US forces went in and took the other hostages out? There was no complaint then. Because it was successful, it was fine. Because it failed, it's not fine. And in that process, a lot of other innocent people besides Americans were taken out. And in this case, I think they had no choice. And if to be fair to them, I think any other government would have done something similar.
You talk about the government. Tell us about the South African government's involvement, especially in the last couple of weeks. I understand some headway has been made. Can you shed some light on that for us, maybe? Look,
we only informed the South African ambassador in Saudi Arabia that Pierre's passport had to be kept ready, because that's the same thing we did for Yolandi. When she came out, we didn't make prior arrangements because that time we were not sure, but this time we were sure. And we said, please, and also because we need to get Pierre out quickly, given that he has a health condition. So the passport had to be arranged, and also he needs an exit visa. Because even though he's a hostage, he's still an employee in Yemen, and he cannot leave without an exit visa, and that's a diplomatic issue, which they needed to sort it out and then decide on which way we're flying him, via Istanbul or via Dubai. So the embassy was alerted, and the ambassador was told that he will be asked to come at short notice.
The process that will happen from today with the body arriving, can you just give us a little insight as to how this process will go, where the funeral will be and so forth?
Look, the process, it's a security matter between the American government and the South African government, but it'll land somewhere in Johannesburg or Pretoria, maybe Waterkloof or one of the other bases. Yolandi will be there today. The official handover will be made to her. It'll probably be a very private thing, which is very appropriate. It shouldn't be any other way. From the arrangements will be made to take Pierre's body to remains to Bloemfontein. There will be probably a public funeral on Thursday, and then a very private family matter soon after that. Yolandi has told well, to me through her spokesperson, they're looking at Thursday. She is coming today to Johannesburg if she's not here already, and tomorrow she will be with us, you know, and then on Thursday she will be in Bloemfontein for the funeral.
Finally, what about the children? How are they holding up?
My heart breaks for them. You know, all the time when I spoke to Yolandi over the several months, she would say, my poor children, look at the notes they've written. They really miss their father. Look at their faces. They've done well at school. The father is not here. They've done well at sports. The father is not here. They haven't spoken to him for 11 months, 15 months, 18 months. My heart bleeds for them. And I really thought on Saturday morning, Yolandi, your kids are finally going to see the father. Can you imagine? And now, with all that hope, there is no father.
Yeah, it must be an absolute body blow. Thank you for joining us, though, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, and for the wonderful work that you've done in trying to get Pierre Korkie home. Unfortunately, things just didn't pan out. But thank you once again.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, let's have a look at some of your views at SABC Newsroom. Of course, that's where we love you to interact with us on Twitter.